Hello, my name is Sinako. Welcome to In My Lawful Experience. On today's show, I'm joined by a very inspiring young lady, a giant. Her name is Sibongile. Sibongile, welcome to this show. Please tell us more about yourself.
So my name is Sibongile Mate. I come from Durban, a little outside of Durban, from a village called Kwanyuswa, also known as a Valley of 1,000 Hills. I am a pupil at the Johannesburg Society of Advocates, and before coming here I was a student and a dance teacher, which is what I'm very passionate about.
Oh my goodness. I was having a conversation with a friend earlier and I said a lot of people who practice in law are mostly creatives. But what made you step away from being a dancer and all that creative direction and decide you want to study law?
Well, I had a background in the arts in high school, so I did drama, I did public speaking, debating, dancing, I stayed fit. So I was very diverse in my artistic background as well. So I knew that if it was not within that area, I wouldn't do it. So that's how I went to law, because of my debating and my public speaking. I was very strong in the research and in presenting the argument. So I knew that that is my calling. And then the other things I also did part-time because I'm passionate about them.
So the soul wanted what it wanted. Your soulmate is law. And so you studied law at University of KZN, or where did you study?
So I did my LLB at UNISA, and I did the 4-year LLB program.
Yeah.
And I applied for pupillage whilst writing my final exams.
Are you serious?
Yes.
So while you were still studying, you already knew that you wanted to become an advocate?
Yes. So what happened was my father sat me down and said, listen, what do you want to do next year? And I said, well, I'm going to do what every other law student does. I'm going to secure articles. And he was like, oh, okay, let me speak to my lawyer. He sat me down, the lawyer. He sat me down, he says, okay, what is your prime? What do you want to do? And I said, my prime is to become an advocate.
Yeah.
He says, then apply straight to the bar. And I said, I did not know that was possible. And that's exactly what I did.
Amazing. So if you are watching this, now you know that in order for you to become an advocate, you can apply straight from varsity. You do not have to have legal background in order for you to apply. It's not a prerequisite. You can do it, but it's not a prerequisite. Just like Sibongile, while you're in university, you can explore your options and decide whether you want to join the bar as an advocate or not. So Sibongile, while you were applying to become an advocate, did you know that you would then have to enroll with the Legal Practice Act for your application before admission?
Yes, so whilst I was checking out the whole procedure on how to apply, they laid out very well on the bar's website.
Yeah.
So they explain to you which category you fall under. I fall under the category of those who graduated after 2018, which means my process will be directed under the Legal Practice Act.
Yeah.
So as I joined the bar, I would have to become an advocate or admitted as an advocate under the Johannesburg Society of Advocates, which I think it was different before.
Yes, definitely. Before 2018, it was very different. It was different from me as well. So what happened was that prior coming to the bar, I was already admitted as an advocate. The only prerequisites in terms of the old act was that you are complete with your LLB degree and you are fit and proper. Then you can move your application to being admitted as an advocate. And like you said, with the New Practice Act, you have to have done your pupillage before you are admitted, right? So, Sibongile, being from KZN, what made you choose this specific bar? Because as I understand it, each and every province has its own bar. Why this one?
So, although I'm from KZN, I mostly grew up this side because my father got a job this side. so I'm very familiar with Johannesburg. So I decided within my application process that I will apply for the Johannesburg bar.
Yeah. I actually had interesting interactions on my social media about this as well. Some people thought that I was still based in Bloemfontein and I was part of the bar in Bloemfontein. Some thought I'm still staying in Bloemfontein while I complete my pupillage at the Johannesburg bar. And I had to oftentimes tell them, you know what, I had to move also because I specifically chosen that I want to be a part of the Johannesburg Society of Advocates instead of completing my pupillage as well in the Free State, which would have been in Bloemfontein, because of various, factors as well. One of it being that the Johannesburg area has the biggest and the most busiest, division of the High Court. So I just wanted to be embroiled in it and just explore also Johannesburg. As you say, it's the city of, gold. We wanted the gold, darling. We wanted the gold. So Sibongile, you've decided to come to the bar and you go to the bar's website, I'm assuming. Or how did you know about the applications when they open? Do you find out about it from the website as well?
Yes, so the first thing I did after speaking to my de facto mentor by virtue of my father's advice, the first thing I did was Google, what is pupillage? Where can I enroll for pupillage? And then obviously I chose the Johannesburg bar. The bar literally helps you and tells you that this is what happens and this is where you can download the application form. So I downloaded the application form and
hectic.
It was page upon page upon page, and some of these questions, still being in varsity, I was like, this is my first application form, and I'm looking at all these things that they want you to fill in. So like extracurricular activities, reference letters, and if you haven't been doing anything prior to applying, then your application form is going to be empty. So I think it's very important to highlight the fact that people should be busy with something, charity work, extramurals.
I think like that. Even myself, I cannot stress that enough. I mean, before coming to the bar, I had already clerked at the Constitutional Court. I had clerked at the Supreme Court of Appeal. I had done some internships, vocational work as well. But when I saw that application form, I wondered, would I be able to fill everything that's required in it? And that is when I learned that as a law student, if you want to join the bar one day, or any other profession for that matter, university is the best time for you to start volunteering at different organizations, do that vocational work, make sure you take some extramural activities at university, gain as much experience as a person and within the profession itself. Those will help you in filling such application forms. Because the fact of the matter is that there's so many people that are applying at the bar, right? And you want to be chosen amongst so many people. And the one question is that, why should you be chosen? And Sibongile, then what happened after? When did you learn that you had been accepted at the bar?
So the application process opens on the 30th of May and then it closes on, the 3rd of May. And then it closes on the 30th of July. So I remember I applied on the day before.
Really?
29th of July in a rush. But thereafter I awaited, I think, plus minus a month, and I got an email with like an interview. I went for the interview and I think I got a response plus minus the same time again, a month. And I had been accepted and I was over the moon.
Right? I know. So, I remember when I got that phone call myself, it was a month after the interviews, and I felt like I had not slept for the whole month, because you are dreaming of this thing you want to do. You're dreaming that you have been accepted. And when that call finally comes in, it's the best moment of your life.
Literally.
And then after you got the call, what next? How did you prepare for the new journey?
So this was a very interesting time in my life. I got accepted for pupillage, but I was not yet done for exams. So now I have my practical secured, and now I have to pass my exams and make sure that I pass. And then I had to just prepare for the next year. We had an introductory session. So we had people from the bar explain to us what pupillage is like and what you can expect. But you can't really prepare for what pupillage is. You really have to go through it.
Yeah.
I can't put it into words.
It's so true, because at the same time, why I'm saying really is because so often we feel like we are preparing, or we want to prepare, or push ourselves to prepare, even for the unknown. I remember during my period between December and January, I used to call my friends who were already at the bar and say, what should I be studying? What should I be looking at? And you're preparing also for the move. I mean, from a different city, finding accommodation, just easing your way through. I remember even coming and seeing what was the distance between my new home and the chambers, so that I can calculate what was the distance and how much time would I need, before I come to work. When should I wake up in order for me to be on time? Things like that. But I'm so happy to hear from Sibongile and from my own experience that there are people at the bar that are gonna walk you through the journey. They're gonna tell you exactly what this journey is all about in more detail during that session, the introduction session. And building relationships within the bar itself, there will be people that are carrying you through the journey. Isn't that right?
No, definitely. I feel it doesn't stop with the introductory session. The support is immense here at the bar. Whenever you feel like you're overwhelmed, you can always knock right next door, or actually at the bar, and speak to the ladies there. So the support is really great.
And more importantly, Sibongile, isn't it that you are allocated a mentor, which is the person who will be walking you through the journey?
This is true. So for the people who came to the bar with their experience as an attorney beforehand, some of them do know of advocates. So they would you have the option of speaking to an advocate and asking them to be your mentor. And then there are people like me who come from varsity, who have no exposure to the legal fraternity, and then I just put down, it's also something they ask actually in the application form. I just said I trust the bar to allocate me a mentor, and that's how I was allocated a mentor.
Wow, that's amazing actually, because my journey is the total opposite. Like you said, I already had some friends who were already at the bar that recommended to me a mentor, and in that application process I could already state whom I wanted my mentor to be. But it's even amazing that the bar caters for you in all aspects of what you would need during the year of pupillage. Welcome back. We are still in conversation with Sibongile, who is currently a pupil advocate. Sibongile, let's talk about your first day. Now you've arrived. Now you are here. How was your first day?
Listen, funny enough, I'm actually wearing the same outfit.
Really?
I was wearing this top and these pants. I was like, let me go for all black so that I can look like a blank canvas. But no, my first day was great. You first start at the bar, and then they tell you which group you will be and who's your mentor. And then you have to go and introduce yourself. You know, introductions are a thing.
Right.
So I introduced myself as much as I could. But it was a great day. It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was quite overwhelming because you're in this new space. And for me as a student, my first working environment, my first work relationships, but it was great. I really cannot complain. Yeah.
My goodness.
Yes.
I mean, even myself, having had work experience, I still felt that the process was so daunting. You're adapting to a new environment altogether. And it's not easy. So I can just imagine how much harder it was for you. And what kept you going? What motivated you to keep going during that period?
Actually, I think when I went to introduce myself to my mentor, I walk in and she's dressed. She's in court, mind you. She's just fully dressed and she smiles at me and she's like, I guess you're my people.
Yes.
But I think from that first conversation I had with her, the thing I took away and what keeps me going, she looked at me dead in the eyes. It's as if she knew that I was afraid, and she said to me, you show up every day and you remember why you're here, then you'll be fine. And I think those words, I literally just took them, put them in my pocket and I've been walking with them.
It's the best thing to be reminded of the journey, right? Because you get into a new environment and it's a new journey. You don't know much about it. You are having the best experience of your life because your dream just came true. But at the same time, you're still adapting and you want to put your best foot forward. I think it's so important that you have an anchor, that support system that will carry you through on those hard days. Isn't it true?
It's definitely true. It is. And luckily, I do have that. My family is in KZN and I'm here, but they are very supportive. They make sure to check up on me because they know I don't have time to just be like, hey, how are you? So they really make time to just call me non-stop. And I also have a few friends and a support system. The family that I moved in with for the time being, for my pupillage, they're also part of my support system. And obviously the people at the bar. People like you.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. Listen, thank you so much for this conversation, Sibongile. And to you who is listening and watching, I hope that you have taken a lot from the conversation, that you have learned from it, and that you will be applying to becoming an advocate or whatever that you have set your mind to. And remember why you are doing it. My name is Sinako. Thank you for joining us in my lawful experience. Please do subscribe and catch the next episode on the ins and out of the pupillage year.